In addition to Stacey Abrams, there's a surge of black women candidates running for office at all levels of government across the United States. Here to talk about their attempts to shatter electoral barriers are Lauren Underwood, who is running to represent Illinois' 14th district, which was traditionally so Republican that it was held by former House Speaker Dennis Hastert. Also with us is Aurora Martinez Jones, who is running in a local race for judge in the 459th district of Travis County, Texas, which includes Austin. First up is Lauren. Lauren, thank you for joining us. Thanks to you both, actually. But Lauren, as I mentioned, your district is historically a GOP stronghold and borders a city that is racially polarized. What gives you both hope and confidence that you can win this year, that 2018 is the year to make history there?
Well, 2018 is a major year across our country. It's an opportunity for people like me, women, young people, communities of color to step forward and to share our stories and to share our truth and to speak and garner support among our communities for fair and real representation. And so those values have been the cornerstone of my campaign. We launched this campaign after my congressman was dishonest about his intentions to vote for Obamacare repeal. And I knew that I could not stand by and sort of let that happen, let him take away health care from the American people. That's what got me into the race. And I'm grateful to have won the primary and to be able to directly challenge him for the November election.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that voters in your district are more receptive to non-traditional candidates? Are they willing, you think, this year to vote in ways that they haven't done before?
I don't think it has to do about traditional candidates. I think it has to do with the authentic voice. And I think it has to do with the ideas and about people willing to show up. This is a community that has had a congressman in office since 2011 that won't meet with people. He won't have public events. He's not someone who has any type of presence within our 14th district. We are being severely underserved by his representation in Congress. And so I find that my neighbors, colleagues, and friends are looking for a representative who is accessible and accountable to the voters in the community.
There are rumors that the House may try yet again to repeal Obamacare. Do you think that that is going to make the issue front and center again in terms of motivating people to vote, or is that already baked in? Are they doing it because they believe that there's more to gain from doing it, or not? What's your kind of impression?
I think that they're going to keep trying because they can't accept that the American people want health care. I think that that's part of the tone-deaf leadership that we're seeing coming out of Washington, and part of what I hope to change.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, Lauren, stay with us. I'd like to bring in Aurora Jones Martinez into the conversation. Aurora, thanks for joining us, and welcome as well. You're running for office in a red state that might turn blue this election cycle. Do you feel that there is a shift happening in Texas overall, or not?
I absolutely feel like there's a shift happening in Texas. In Austin, Texas, Travis County, we are a blue dot in a traditionally red state, but I've seen just a wave of candidates from the Democratic Party running and having really good momentum. I think that we are really competitive, and we could see the blue wave coming through Texas.
Mm-hmm. You could have run for any number of local offices. You're already an associate judge there. What made you focus on running for the judgeship in the 459th district that focuses on sort of family and family law? I was curious as to why you think that's a crucial political issue and a place to be.
Sure. So as an associate judge, I've had the opportunity to do a lot of work helping children and families, especially those who are in the child protective system here in Texas. And last legislative session, our legislature and governor really pushed hard to look at some reforms, because in Texas, we have been under a federal lawsuit since 2015, where the court has found that the state of Texas violates the constitutional rights of children who are in permanent foster care. And so last session, as they were passing some over 400 bills to reform that system, one of the bills that they passed really got me concerned, and that was to privatize the child welfare system here in Texas. I haven't seen any examples where it's worked well, and that got me really concerned. At the same time, during that session, we had this brand new court that was created to address issues and that could help children and families, and that's really what motivated me. Some of those decisions being made and knowing that I could help create a safety net for the children and families in my community if I took on a larger leadership role and had a louder voice on how we do things in my community. So that's why I chose to run in this race.
Both of you have received nods from relatively new external groups that popped up in the wave of the election and slightly before. Lauren, you from Arena and many others, and Aurora, you from Run for Something. I'm wondering whether or not these groups are helping to diversify the candidate base. Are they helpful to you and how you're approaching your races? I'm curious about, are they part of the explanation for the wave of what you all represent, which are Black women running for office from the federal level down to sort of the hyper-local level? Lauren, why don't you sort of take a first response at that?
Yeah, so I first joined the Arena community right after the 2016 election when it was just regional summits. And they had not launched a fellowship program. They had not begun endorsing candidates. But what they did was helped encourage young people to see ourselves as candidates. So I would not say that they were engaging in recruitment, nor were they serving sort of as this beacon like Run for Something does. It says, hey, young people, if you're running, land here, right? And so I had, connected with Run for Something and then decided to run for Congress, in which case Run for Something doesn't do federal races. But the Arena's been fantastic. They provide strategic support via pro bono consultants that have been the lead strategic advisors in my campaign. They've helped us with fundraising, connecting with donors, helped refine our message, and connecting us with experts across the country. Their assistance has been invaluable and has provided me with the support that I needed as a first-time candidate. And I'm so grateful for them as a resource.
Great. And Aurora, how about you?
So for me, despite having judicial experience, I still have had a lot of people questioning, I think, looking at my youthfulness and perhaps because I'm a woman of color about the legitimacy behind me running for this seat. And I think what Run for Something really did for me is show that there's national attention and there's credibility to me and my race and really gave me the legitimacy that helped kind of propel me forward in my race. So I'm very thankful to have Run for Something's endorsement, and it's been wonderful and giving me more exposure and a lot more momentum in my race.
Great. And one last question for you both. Lauren, you've won your race for the Democratic nomination, and Aurora, you're currently in a runoff. So, Lauren, what lessons would you offer up to Aurora and any candidate that you've learned in your in the successful jumping of your first hurdle in order to secure the nomination?
One thing I learned was about fundraising. So there's so much emphasis on raising money. I had no appreciation that it's not just the amount of money, but when that money comes in. And so often as voters and as casual donors, we might start to give the week before the election. That's too late. Your candidate can't win if they're getting all their money 7, 10, 14 days before that election. Early money is critical so that we can do planning and so that we can buy materials, so that we can hire staff and all of those things. I was the candidate that was most realistic in my budgeting in the primary and actually met my budget goal. And I think that it's not all about money, but you can't run a successful under-resourced campaign. And so that's one of the things that I did learn, and certainly applying principles differently in our general election campaign.
And Aurora, is fundraising a challenge for you? Is that one of the things that you're finding as a challenge in your race, or what's challenging in your race for the nomination?
So in my race, before the primary, I did have some challenges in fundraising, but whenever I came out with a good showing, I had over 45% of the votes in the primary. That really helped people feel confident that I could win, and that helped with my fundraising from the primary now to my runoff. My runoff is on Tuesday, and in Texas and in my county as well, the big issue is getting people to the polls. We've had a low turnout historically in Texas for the number of people who are registered to vote and who actually turns out at the polls. So lately it's been just really pushing hard and making sure, especially for a runoff or a primary, to get people to the polls and hoping just to get out the vote. We have our runoff date is May 22nd. That'll be on Tuesday.
Great. Well, thanks to you both for joining us, and thank you for running, because democracy only works through participation, for people as citizens deciding that they are going to enter in and make it work. So best of luck to you both, and we look forward to continuing to follow your campaigns, and thank you for taking the time out. Lauren, at an event, Aurora on a busy night where you need to be getting votes for Tuesday, thank you so much, and all the best to you both.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. For more information about Lauren and Aurora, go to our website, www.thelaststep.org.